In our last session, I read a letter from a woman who complained that even though she had been loving to her husband for the past 6 months, he still yelled at her about her mistakes and stormed out of the house for hours. I suggested that it was highly likely that she was not loving him as unconditionally as she thought, because she indicated her impatience in the letter, and because people tend to respond rather positively to the real thing. I suggested that she was still defending herself in some way. So, what did I suggest that she do? Let's continue my letter to her here. So, what am I recommending to you? Go back to your husband and say something like this, quote, "All you've ever wanted from me was for me to love you unconditionally, to love you no matter what you did. But I haven't done that. I've approved of you only when you've done what I've wanted. I've been wrong to do that. One way I've shown you that I don't love you unconditionally is that I haven't really listened to you. You've been trying to tell me some things I do that you don't like for a long time, but I keep arguing with you and defending myself. I've been so wrong not to listen and to love you. If you're willing to let me, I'd like to try again to listen to you." End quote. Now, I realize that it sounds a bit presumptuous on my part to tell someone I don't know that she hasn't been loving her husband. I wasn't there during their conversations. How could I know? But I can tell you that I've seen the effects of real love now for so many occasions that I can virtually guarantee that her husband would not stomp out of the room if she were listening without any defending whatever. People absolutely love being genuinely listened to. They love being loved, which pretty much guarantees that she wasn't really listening to him. A week later, I got the following email from her. Quote, "I talked to my husband and I told him what you told me to say. Most of it anyway. I didn't defend myself one bit, none. And you won't believe what he did next. He cried. He reached out his hand and touched me. Then he hugged me. He hasn't done that in years. We just held each other for a long time. I asked him if there was anything he wanted to tell me, and I figured that he'd give me a long list of my mistakes since I was finally willing to listen, but he just said, 'It doesn't matter.' I couldn't believe what I was hearing. In the past couple of days, he's acted like a teenager. He's been kind and tender and happier than I've ever seen him. Here I thought real love wasn't working, but I just wasn't loving him. This is amazing. I don't think I can begin to describe this feeling." End quote. Real love melts monsters. It's the most powerful force on the planet. We only have to learn to find it and share it, and we'll see miracles like this in our lives. We really will, because it's always about real love.